Well, hello there. Good evening, everybody. It is an evening in 10 forward, installment number 90. We have reached installment number 90. This is incredible stuff. I hope you're all doing wonderful on this Friday evening. Temperature's going up, isn't it? The weather's getting a little bit better. We are leaving the cold of the long winter. Opening a show with some sad news. We learned today of the passing of the legend that is Chuck Norris. Passed away, I believe, at 86. The legend himself. Very much beloved individual in the film industry, and he will be sorely missed. And I love the reaction of the internet as always. It has been it's been kind of warming, really, because there's a certain amount of levity with it, with all the Chuck Norris memes and comments and such, and I think that shows a real love for the actor, for the individual, for the great man himself. So may you rest in peace, Chuck. And I can't really believe it. I find that the older the individuals get, such as myself, my childhood heroes are all aging out and passing away. It's really very sad. We're joined tonight rather promptly by Watch Nerd. Watch Nerd, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, sorry I'm a few minutes late. I'm not used to it these days. I was like, doing the bits and bobs I needed to. I was like, I'm going to be a few minutes late. So yeah, I did. Hence my message. But yeah, no, all good. Thank you. Obviously, sad to see the passing of Chuck Norris.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've already mentioned that. But yeah, yeah, all good. The end of another work week, so it's always a good day.
Well, I want to take this opportunity to give you the warmest welcome back to 10 Forward after quite a long hiatus because of the show that's to my left. Obviously, we didn't want to put you through that, Watch Nerd, and to be quite honest with you, I feel very good. I feel very good about myself having made you and Xell sit this one out.
Yeah, it looked horrible. It honestly looked worse than section 31, and that kind of that says something. Because I endured that for an hour and a half. But yeah, as I said before, like my limit on New Trek just hit my limit in season 3 of Strange New Worlds. I just thought I can't even watch this anymore, even as like it's something to commentate on or something as like that's a parody of old Trek. I just thought it just makes me feel a bit depressed, and we don't need that these days in this crazy world with all the all the craziness. So yeah, not for me.
There is absolutely craziness out there. And I will take this opportunity to apologise for everyone for any delay in the video. We are I'm running on the very old PC, which I plan to upgrade over the coming months. So if I do appear out of voice sync, I do apologise. I just turned my camera off. But it's so nice to have everybody here. I hope you're all doing okay. Annoying Critic left a pre-stream chat. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris and Star Trek. Rather apt, that one. And Stephen Bromby says, "Evening all." It's great to have you all here. Obviously, with the lack of a new Trek show on the air, I suspect the streams aren't going to be quite as popular as they were when we were watching the absolute drivel. And in some ways, I can't really sort of pat myself on the back for making you sit this one out, because poor Gooner had to endure week after week. And you know, he says his brain is fine, but I'm not sure I believe him. A good place. Hello, even in death, Chuck makes us laugh. What a legend. Yeah. Chuck Norris was an absolute legend. Is an absolute legend. He will remain a legend for many more years to come. Yeah, I mean, Watch Nerd. I know that you were. I assumed you were watching my reviews and you were watching others' reviews on Starfleet Academy. Was there anything in particular that stood out for you as to convince you that you made the right decision to set out? Were there any whoppers that you remember?
The biggest one is Tawny Newsom's self-insert. That is by far the biggest. It just encapsulates the arrogance of Kurtzman Trek, and the narcissism, everything, just in one. It's just, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's not. I think that episode. I'm going to turn my camera off because the delay is quite bad. I have to admit, when that entire episode aired, it was rage-inducing, and for me, it was rage-inducing because I'm such a huge fan of Deep Space Nine. But I imagine it was the same rage you felt when Strange New Worlds did what they did with the classic episodes of TOS, because it was just plain insulting. And she was ready, absolutely ready, to take criticism of this show, and that speaks volumes as well.
Yeah, I know. She knew how that would be received. You know, somewhere deep down, she knew what people would say. Yeah, I just thought that was that really, even I didn't even see that episode. I'd never watched that episode, but that made me quite angry in the same way that, you know, what Strange New Worlds did to Spock and to TOS kind of lore made me angry. It's just very mean-spirited and completely unnecessary. It's just like, you don't need to do that. If you had any good ideas, you just write your own stuff, but instead you have to, like, you know, borrow from a great show like Deep Space Nine and just try and make it terrible. Like, just try and, you know, completely muddy the memory of Deep Space Nine. It's like, leave the Cisco alone. Like we said, leave the Cisco alone. Leave Dax alone. Leave them alone. Stop it. Yeah, really, just mean-spirited, and that's why just the whole kind of like current, you know, get up of Star Trek, I'm just not on board with it. Like, you know, I've been to FedCon the last 2 years, but I'm not going this year because it's just mostly new Trek people. It's like Academy and Strange New Worlds people. Just like, I don't care. I just don't care. You know, I think Tim Russ is the only like legacy Trek, but we all know what he'll be talking about. So yeah, not for me.
I imagine it'd be something very, very current and nothing at all future related. Yeah. I mean, that episode actually featured something else that infuriated me at the same time as making me roll my eyes, and also at the same time as me almost mimicking what the character did on screen, and that's the fact that these Kionians, they vomit glitter.
Oh, I saw clips of that. That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is exceedingly ridiculous. And very, 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 very true. It was a thing that happened in the show. I thought perhaps it may be, when I first saw it, perhaps it would be some form of censorship to, you know, stop any unnecessary things being shown. But no, it was glitter. His species vomits particles of shredded plastic.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting that they thought that that would fly, but excuse me. Also, at the same time, you know, with this show, you have the recent news that Hulu have pulled and have shown no interest and decided to pass on the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot. And people have been asking, oh, why? You know, certainly people who want to see Buffy return have been asking why did they pass on it? And then the scripts got leaked, and they went, oh, that's why. Because the entire thing was just absurd. I would say probably worse than Starfleet Academy in the sense of using how should we say, modern social issues, and it just it's. I always made this point that if you're, this is why a lot of reboots fail, because they don't have the original team behind the original show. This is why Star Trek's failed, obviously for many more reasons than this. But Buffy reboots will always fail because the original team's not there to write it. You know, Joss Whedon's not going to be involved, for obvious reasons anyway. And you know, Jaina Spence and Douglas Petrie, they're not involved, so it's not going to be the same show, surely. And just as the same, you know, okay, yes, you've got Jonathan Frakes coming in to direct the odd episode of Academy, but the only Legacy Trek person really that's made any kind of impact was Terry Metalis, and he was shown the door because he got it right. And wrong, but mostly right.
Yeah.
I mean, what were your... I mean, obviously you don't regret not watching the show. It's not something that you're going to go, oh, really should have watched that. But what would your overall thoughts be on what you did see in the reviews and the clips that were released and all of that?
It just seemed. I mean, I thought it was very weird, right? Something that really I thought was strange that Nala Ake, the captain, whatever, Genevieve Bujold.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's just how I think of Holly Hunter in that role. Is just Genevieve
Go
Bujold,
to
totally
warp
wrong for the role.
speed, Mr. Paris. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that bad. It's just like, but that's the thing. Like in 90s Trek, she would have been like probably relieved of her duties after the pilot because they would have said, "Hey, mate, it's not a good fit."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
She's allowed to just continue. You know, there's clips I've seen where, you know, as I say, I'm not taking a piss out of anyone, but generally clips that I've seen that I can't understand what Holly Hunter's saying.
Yes.
She's running around with bare feet. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Sorry, excuse
my
French.
Don't worry.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
And then, you know, it just looks weird. I'm just like, what? Why are you answering the door to your cadets in your pajamas? Why don't you say, hey, just give me a few minutes and just get dressed? It's all very strange, isn't it? It's all very weird. Just a weird thing.
It's just not grown up, and it's not an interpretation. It's not a mature interpretation of anything that resembles real life. And I was thinking the other day, Robert Meyer Burnett uses the word verisimilitude. And that is, it's basically you have to write truth in what it is you're creating, because if you do not, people cannot relate to it, even in the most fundamental ways, and ultimately it becomes kind of like a parody of itself, because and so grossly unbelievable. Now, something as basic as what you've just mentioned, in the sense of Holly Hunter's in her pajamas and she's letting cadets into her quarters and everything's so damn casual. This is a military organization, or a form of military organization. If you recall Captain Janeway, I don't think she ever answered the door in a nightie.
No. She would have said, "Give me a few minutes." You know, she put some clothes on, like a normal. It's just so weird. It's such a weird, you know. And I guess the Athena, is that the name of the ship? I don't know. I don't care. I think it's called the Athena. Looks like a toilet seat, as we all know. You've got Paul Giamatti. I mean, you know, he's a good actor, but I mean, I hope that paycheck was good, bro. I mean, the same with Robert Picardo. Again, I hope that paycheck was worth it, my friend. But whatever. It's I think, as far as I'm aware, the Doctor was used as kind of like a member berry.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was very much a spare part. And you know, they retcon so much, certainly with the Doctor. And I honestly think, if you recall, there was a debate just before the show aired. And hello, Gooner, welcome to the stream. I believe Gooner might be joining us a little bit later. So yeah, before the show aired, and Picardo was announced as, you know, as being the Doctor, I'm fairly certain that they weren't aware enough of the Star Trek universe to realise that there were two versions of the Doctor. And they wrote the holographic Doctor and then released the information, oh look, Picardo is going to be in the show as Voyager's EMH. And people started asking questions. Which EMH is he? Because it would make sense, would it not, that it would be the backup program from Living Witness. And that, I believe, would have been exceptionally clever of them to have said that the Doctor made it or the Doctor had made it back, say, to Federation space, only to realise that the burn had taken place, or that, you know, to have come back after the burn, or come back around the time of Academy, and done an episode where at least you introduce the character, and it's a different Doctor. You know, he's had different experiences. He didn't experience any of Voyager after Living Witness. And you know, people were obviously giving the writers too much credit, because this is why I genuinely think they didn't know. They just didn't know. Otherwise, they would have written that. You know, there was no point in writing the Doctor in, and they do that. They do that so often. And Paul Giamatti's character, I believe, he only appeared in 4 episodes out of the 10, if I recall. And the dialogue for him was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Origami chicken notwithstanding. So, but I'm trying to think whose video it was now. I think it was Disparu, where they basically admitted, after the finale aired, that the finale underwent script changes, like really last minute script changes.
Oh wow!
Because the ending didn't make any sense. I thought, well, the changes you've made didn't make any bloody sense either. You're gonna mine the entire Federation? I honestly could not believe what I was seeing. They built a great big minefield around the Federation. Absolutely unreal. And again, the quality of the shows that we're getting is obviously nowhere near the quality of the shows we were getting, because they're not created by the same people. It's people looking at a thing and trying to interpret it through their own worldview, and that's what fan fiction is. It's people instill their bias into something and create something that they themselves would enjoy, without understanding that what made it so special in the first place is the creative team behind it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think generally speaking, the reboot rule is you have to have, I would say, at least 3 creatives on your reboot show that worked on the original. I mean, look at Firefly. Firefly is coming back as an animated series. And Joss Whedon's not going to be involved in it. But at least some of the team are going to be there. So it might work. But Joss Whedon is, say what you want about the guy, he's a hell of a writer. And he's I think, hell of a creative.
I think there's a lot of, it's a very general comment, and as I say, I don't know anything about the veracity of any allegations against Joss Whedon, just as a disclaimer. But I think in general, I've no idea. I think in general, it just, it's the whole cancel culture that's a thing in Hollywood, and it seems to me to be very hypocritical, because some people who perhaps, I guess, are more in the in crowd, or perhaps have more of the in political views or whatever, get away with a hell of a lot. Do you know what I mean? And there's no, so I'm always very skeptical.
Yes.
I'm just like, you probably just annoyed the wrong person. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And again, I don't know anything about what has taken place. I only know general tidbits of information, and I make no judgment on the entire situation. Disclaimer. But there were allegations of misconduct on the set, mistreatment of the cast, and it was coming out 20 years later. I'm thinking, okay, so we all agree, the 70s, for example, was a different time. It was a different time with different attitudes, and you look at them through a modern lens, and some of it looks dicey. In fact, some of it, a lot of it was hella dicey. You look at the likes of Rolf Harris, Bill Cosby, hell, even JS. I'm not going to say his name, and that was one of the most extreme examples of, holy crap, that's our childhood ruined. And many, many, many others, and all that nastiness that took place. And then you look at say the allegations made towards the likes of Rolf Harris, and you think, okay, it was a different time, and now we're looking at it through a modern lens. Now, I don't really want to get sort of stuck on this subject, but it does make you wonder how much of it is sensitivity and how much of it is based in actual happenings.
Yeah, and I think honestly, just I think the allegations relate to him being quote unquote mean to people. I mean, whatever. People's memories,
change over time.
And that's why, if you're prosecuting a criminal case, I'm not saying this is, I'm just saying, right, let's say, any kind of like eyewitness statements are only really applicable kind of very near to the fact. Do you know what I mean?
Because memory fades. Yeah, exactly.
Memory fades. And you can have people who are like, oh yeah, don't you remember he did that? And then someone, if people are in a group talking together, then obviously they might not be intentionally lying, but they're embellishing things. Do you know what I mean? Because the whole group bias thing. Do you know what I mean? Like again,
Well,
you know what I'm trying to
yes,
say?
it's whatever the modern equivalent of Chinese whispers,
Exactly.
and it's memory whispers as well.
Yeah, because our memories fade. Like that's
Yes.
how we are as human beings. Unfortunately, that's why there's CCTV cameras in a lot of places, because that doesn't have the problems that human memory has. Do you know
No.
what I mean? So, yeah, like I don't know. And so,
Well,
as I say, I have
you
no
could say the
idea what
same
did.
thing. Sorry, about Christopher Nolan, could you not?
Yeah, because he's very particular.
James Cameron. James Cameron
Yeah,
was a badass director, and he was a badass on the set, and he's got this creative vision, and he's trying to bring it to life, and you're his puppets. That's
yeah,
what you are. You are employed adult pretenders, and you go wherever the director tells you to go, and that's it. And if a director gives you a bollocking, you could easily say yes, yeah, he's mean. He said mean things, and he did mean things. Like, the way he spoke to me was atrocious. Now, I don't know again, we don't know what happened. I don't know the details behind it. I can only surmise from my limited understanding of what's gone off. But either way, regardless of what's happened to Joss Whedon in the past, you have to, you can't deny that any kind of Buffy reboot is not going to be a Buffy reboot if the original team aren't there. And according to the script, Buffy was going to have like a passive role in a show with her character's name in the title. So what good is that? You might as well just do a spin-off. Now, it's been passed by Hulu. They're not doing anything with it. And Sarah Michelle Gellar has now come out saying, please don't read the script. It wasn't the final draft. It's like, well, you better hope that pilot does not make it onto the internet, because then if you're lying or you're misfeeding information or feeding misinformation, then you're going to be caught out. Because if that pilot matches the script, because the pilot's been filmed, if it makes it out there, which no doubt eventually it will, you better hope that pilot doesn't match the script. I don't think it's a good idea to bring a show back after so long. It's just not going to work. Not unless you have an entire take. And Star Trek can do it because it's a greater franchise in terms of its size and scope.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of it's a futuristic show. It's a commentary on modern society via sci-fi. Obviously not in the way that it's been done post 2005. But do you know what I mean? Like it's a whole cultural zeitgeist. Whereas like Buffy was a good show and no issues with it, but like there's certain things about Buffy that are quite 1990s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think certain franchises like that are just best left, as they are. And obviously it seems as though, other people have made that decision as well. People who were going to put in a significant amount of money to distribute it, So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that people are starting to look at the money that they have available to them.
Yeah.
And it's surprising really with the coming around of Netflix and Apple TV and Amazon and all these different streaming services. We did see a surge of the any script will do kind of show coming out. You know, you had an awful lot of them, and Netflix would literally just throw money at anyone who had it, who put two words together in a script. It would seem at the time anyway. Now it seems some of the bigger streaming platforms, some of the newer streaming platforms, are being very picky. Now I'm actually glad I made it round to saying this, because if you objectively look at Apple, for example, Apple Television has come out with some absolute gems, and it's got quite a high success rate. I think you'll agree.
Yeah.
Because not only do we have For All Mankind, which we will be talking about in the coming weeks, because season 5 is starting very soon. No doubt if you're all right to want to come on to stream and everything to talk about that on a week by week basis.
Yeah, should be good.
Excellent.
Should be good to film that.
Yeah. So yeah, we have For All Mankind. We're also, the wife and I are also watching Monarch, Legend of the Monsters, which is the Godzilla spin-off TV show. Now, Godzilla is they are popcorn flicks. They're some of blockbuster movies. They're big smashy films, big spectacles. But I'm actually finding Monarch to be a pretty decent show. Really, it's not bad. And they do seem to have they do seem to be on a winning streak. Apple, Pluribus as well. That's a great a great show, you know. And there's a lot of backing for a lot of these shows, and it just seems to be they're being very careful about what they put out. Whereas Netflix, I find, has just become this what would I equate it to? The Steam store of streaming, where it's literally you can just play anything. You know, all the mobile games come up, and all of the cheap to generate simulator games come out, and they're all generic. They're all the same. They're all poorly built and poorly conceived, and it seems to me that Netflix is doing that at the minute. It's literally pumping money out to anyone with a script. So really, it's nice to see them starting to pull on the purse strings a little.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, but if you think about it, like Apple's, Apple TV, it's kind of like, it's like a hobby for Apple. Do you know what I mean? Because they're their main, obviously, revenue is coming from their hardware sales. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like for Netflix, that is Netflix's bread and butter.
Yes.
So they've got to just put everything out there. Everything's metrics driven. With what they have on their platform. That's why they switch things on and off their platform a lot, I think. Whereas the Amazon's the same. Amazon's the same as Apple, because again, like Jeff Bezos saved The Expanse.
Yes.
Because for him it's just a pet project. AWS runs all modern internet infrastructure. Do you know what I mean? Everything runs via AWS cloud services. Servers, everything. So like for him it's a pet project, like for Apple TV, pet projects. They can pick and choose, and if they like an idea, they can sink a lot of money into it and not really worry about whether it's a commercial success or not instantly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose they don't have to worry so much, but at the same time, that breeds the Rings of Power, which I'm 100% sure they're regretting at this point.
Oh god, yeah.
100%
it wasn't great.
sure. I mean, I haven't watched it, and nor is the wife. The wife is a massive Lord of the Rings fan, as you all may probably know. But no, I have no intention of watching that, and nor does she. She says that can go screw itself. And the what is it? The Search for Gollum that's coming out. That's going to be a no-go for her as well. She says I'm not interested. The Lord of the Rings trilogy was the Lord of the Rings for her. But yeah, you know, I would very much if the Buffy script leak is true, and the reason that Hulu passed on it was because of the script and because the pilot was so bad. Like I say, I think it indicates a shift to common sense and to reading the market, because ultimately, as a business, you need to be able to read your market, and if you don't, that's when you fail as a business. It's also very very good business practice if you are on a quote unquote limited budget, and limited budget is relative these days, especially with these bigger platforms. It's very important that you stay in your lane. Now, Amazon and Apple, as you've said, they've got money to throw into something like the TV services, because it's not their bread and butter. But they don't shut down Amazon warehouses and throw all of their eggs into the streaming basket. Netflix can't do that, as we've said before. You have to do your research, and you cannot you cannot create something and expect everybody to like it and for it to be successful. If you've already been told nobody likes it and it's not successful, you're going to stop pouring money into it. And I think we're starting to see that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it's just economies of scale, and it is, you know, yeah. But yeah, I'd say definitely Apple TV. There's a high percentage of decent stuff on there, because Netflix just, a lot of it is just slop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just slop for the masses, I guess.
Well, I mean, I haven't even gotten around to Stranger Things 5. I'm not sure I can be bothered. Because, again, with television shows, it's that long between seasons. Nowadays, you don't remember what happened in the previous episode. On the last episode of the previous series. You actually find that you have to rewatch a lot of it just to remember what happened. And I can say with some certainty that when Strange New Worlds hits in the summer, which apparently it is, with season 4, God help us all, I can say with some confidence, I don't remember the final episode of season 3. I couldn't tell you what happened, because I don't remember. And people aren't going to remember. You know, House of the Dragon, again, I don't remember what happened the last episode. I've stopped caring. To me, it's like an engine. You have to keep it running. If it stalls, and it stalls for too long, you can't get it fired up again. People have lost interest.
Yeah, exactly. It's... Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know... I mean, Strange New Worlds, I mean, they filmed it. You've still got, what, season 4 and the very curtailed season 5 to come?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I mean... Yeah, apathy there.
Absolutely. We're going to go just through some of the chats here. The vomit glitter thing made me roll my eyes so fast. I nearly went blind. It's just that how matter of fact Sam is about it as well. When she goes, "Iron Kyonians, yeah, they puke glitter." It's like no alien in Star Trek would puke shards of shiny multicolored plastic. Sorry, it wouldn't happen. It's the writer's thinking that makes her quirky, mistaking it for a personality and think that was Nala. Okay, yeah. I don't want my characters to be quirky. I want my characters to make sense, to be true to the world as we see it. And I think, the show got so many things wrong. The Betazoids are telepathic species, so why would they need to sign? Yes, it's to indicate that the dad got his earring blown out by his daughter, who went like friggin' who basically went postal because she's got these powers, these psychic powers, which is stupid in itself. But she became so powerful she deafened her dad. Well, if he's a Betazod, she's a Betazod, they can communicate telepathically. You've got no reason to sign. Because they can talk to each other. It was proven time and time and time again, but it's all about representation. In the same scene, you've got them signing to each other. You've got someone sitting there in a wheelchair in the 32nd century. A rolling wheelchair as well. It's unfathomable to me how wrong they got that show. And you've got Nala Ake who walks around barefooted and spends most of the time in the pajamas and then laying awkwardly on sofas and sitting in a massive captain's chair that nearly swallows her whole. From what I've been reading, article-wise, interview-wise, and seeing of this show, it was so haphazardly put together. Not a single thought was put into anything regarding this show whatsoever. They clumped it together, and apparently this is all Kurtzman. This is a Kurtzman-led project. Written by Tawny Twat and Gaia, whatever her name is, can't remember. And they haven't written anything substantial within 10 episodes of one series. There was nothing profound. There was nothing substantial. I'd say most of the characters actually sucked. I thought that Jet Reno was actually decent in the last episode. She had moments where I was thinking, if we'd have had more of that, it would have at least been a positive that I could take away from the show, because she had something of a commanding presence. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't Oscar winning, but it was certainly a highlight of a very drab and direly put together final episode of the show. Hello, Mojo Jojo, how are you? So yeah, utter tripe, and this show was rushed, and they've apparently filmed season 2 back to back with season 1, and back to back filming of seasons. I don't think it works. It worked for Star Trek Picard, but that's because you had a different creative team behind season 3. They were off doing something completely different. You've filmed season 1 and season 2 of this show back to back with the same creative team. What? And you don't even have a chance to gauge audience reaction. You can't grow and learn if you don't accept the criticism of the first season, and it wouldn't matter what criticism you got of the first season. If your second season's already filmed, you can't alter it. That's just wasteful. absolute nonsense. Gooner says, well, you are setting people do their shopping in the PJs. That's the right thing now. So Academy relating to that group of people. Yeah, that's very true. They're the casual shoppers in their onesies. It's almost as if Hollywood has gotten stuck in a cycle of recycling old IPs, since they are so risk averse to trying new things, taking legit creative risks. In general, yes, I'd agree with that 100%. In general, the whole "I'm a free spirit" makes me squirm. It's so unsettling that the 1970s hippie is in charge of this academy. Kind of did feel like that, yeah. The virtue signaling is so clumsy. It has a subtlety of a rock being chucked to the glass window. Stephen, 100% agree with that. It did nothing subtly. Hopefully they won't subject us to season 2. It says Red Eye. To be fair, I'm not sure. I say it was got a good chance of being Batgirl, and it would certainly save a lot of people's psyches. Now, I have been substantially less attacked reviewing this show than I have the likes of Strange New Worlds. I think I mentioned this last week. It's incredible, Watch Nerd. I think Strange New Worlds has created I would say, at a guess, a 70-30 split. Whereas this show has created a 99-1 split. And I say a 70-30 split. 70% of Star Trek fans don't like Strange New Worlds. And it's garnered a lot more crossover with the OG fans. Certainly at the beginning. Slightly less. I think it's been on a decline as the series has progressed. But Starfleet Academy is pretty much universally disliked. Guys, if you are enjoying the stream so far, then please hit that like button. Let's see if we can get those that like counter going upward. That's always nice to see. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you're new here. And yeah, it's been an interesting 10 weeks. I can't believe it's actually finally over. I must admit, I did kind of miss having you and Xell to gas about it and moan about it and everything. But I'm so happy that you managed to avoid it this time.
Yeah, as am I, to be honest. As I say, like, absolutely not. It looked bad. And as you say, like, I mean, I know people who have watched a bit of Strange New Worlds and don't mind it, as in people I know from conventions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know anyone that's actually watched all of Starfleet Academy.
No.
Apart from you, like, for a review. I mean, like, as a viewer, watched it, you know.
No, I can't. Yeah. I can't imagine there's many people going, "Oh, I can't wait until next week's episode." Because what have you got to look forward to? Now, if you look at main story, Watch Nerd, the first episode was all about Caleb trying to find his mother. Okay. And then the series started its quote unquote standard episode run. And each episode did absolutely nothing to forward that plot until the penultimate episode, in which case it was a 2-parter. So really, finding Caleb's mother was 3 episodes out of the 10 episodes. Now, ordinarily, we'd rejoice at that because it would mean that, oh, it was episodic. But it was so all over the place. The kids never learned a single thing throughout the entire season. They never learned anything. They went to the occasional class where they got a cheesy one-liner about something that claimed to be profound. And then by the I would say by the 8th episode, I believe, was the end of the school year. It's like, I'm sorry, how many life lessons could you have taught these cadets? How many situations could you have put them in to teach them something? And you could argue that, oh, the Nagasaki episode, or whatever that ship was called, the stupid episode, was that instance of them putting them in danger and seeing what they can do. But it just always ended with the cadets saving the day. No, I don't want to see that. I want to see, as RBM says, verisimilitude. I want to see what would really happen. I want to see truth. I want to see those teenage kids scared out of their minds, unable to function and learning something, as the grown-ups come in and rescue them and mentor them individually. You know, you could have them as an elite squad like Red Squad or Nova Squadron. You could have them as the elite and have them as the main characters, and you can have them start as, you know, as rusty as you like, or as uninformed and unqualified as you like, and you use that first year to start building them into officers, not fucking girl bosses. And you know, it was an ill-conceived concept in the first place, but I would argue that it could have worked if they had got the formula right. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, that was never going to happen, was it? That was
no,
never going to happen.
No. If it was in the hands of Star Trek writers, I'd say it would have had as fair a shot as Voyager, and probably done as well. But even with the cadets, you can only do so much. It would be a limited series. You could do a three season series, and that will be 3 semesters. You know, and the fact that the school is a ship and they barely go anywhere. And you know, it's like, oh yeah, the school, you know, the school is the ship. We'll you know, it means we can go out on missions. But you take the entire fucking school. So whenever the cadets have a dangerous mission to go on, or you know, a dangerous exercise they need to go on, they've got to cart the entire academy. It doesn't make any sense. It's just a load of pointless ideas put together.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it was kind of, you know, it was doomed to fail from the get go. Set up to fail. I feel sorry for like maybe the young actors who have their first proper part. You know, to be associated with this is not great for your career, I guess, going forward. But hey ho, you know, what can you do? It's a paycheck, I guess. So. Yeah.
It is. I mean, thankfully for Gina Yashir, she managed to avoid being in most of the episodes. You know, as did a lot of the crew that were introduced in the first episode. They never came back.
That's crazy.
I think. So all of the bridge crew. We had Officer McWhite, we had Officer Bobcut, we had the not so slender biology teacher or whatever she was. I never remember. You had a couple of Asian officers, and you had some guy in the background. I can't remember his name. They introduced all of them in the first episode, and you never saw them again. But they introduced them as their character names. So you were thinking, okay, so these are the grown-ups. This is the crew of the Athena. they are going to carry out the missions, and the cadets are going to shadow them, or the cadets are going to learn something from each of these officers. Nope. They were in the first episode, and you never saw them again. Not one of them.
Wow.
Honestly, they're just non-existent after that. It's almost like they forgot. They forgot that the Athena actually had a crew. And it just became Jet Reno, the Captain No Shoes, and the Jem'Hadar on occasion. So yeah, absolutely, it was bizarre. I can't actually describe this show as anything other than terrible. Stephen Bromby says, I think it's extremely generous to suggest that Starfleet Academy was one colossal missed opportunity, to be honest. Well, I think, like I said, I think in the hands of classic Trek writers, they could have done something special. If not for a 3-season show, certainly for a couple of TV movies. You know,
Yeah.
something short, something, you know, I kind of like little Star Trek stories.
Yeah.
I think it could have happened. And I think it could have happened well. Xell is in the building. Hello, Xell. Thank the Lords of Kobol. We knew Battlestar Galactica to look forward to. Oh, yeah. I doesn't read well either. That I'm not reading it well. I hope you've recovered from the crazy Discord chat the other night and hope you had a nice time at the farm. Says Gooner to Xell. Yes, that was a bit of a crazy. That was a bit of a crazy time for those who don't know. We did have a bit of a to do in the Discord with one individual who proceeded to call me a racist and leave. Xell just went to Clarkson's pub, the Farmer's Dog. So yeah, I think me and the wife are going to head there. Probably we were aiming for this year, but I think it'd probably be next year now. But yeah, the Diddley Squat Farm is awesome. I couldn't recommend going there enough, even if it's busy, just for a visit, because it is worth doing. And you go into the farm shop and it's all overpriced, but you just don't care because it's a great experience to go there. So Gooner's just informed me that he won't be able to make it in tonight, so it's just you and me watching it.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, not a great experience, and I honestly think that now is the time for Skydance to shelve the IP, focus on merchandising the original stuff, because that's what sells, and that way you can still make money from your franchises. You can still get deals, and the collectibles can be made. You get companies of good repute to make the merchandise, and you shelve Star Trek. And anytime that you're ready to come back with some writers who know Star Trek, who like Star Trek, is so important. How can you bring people on board that don't like Star Trek to make Star Trek? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like having someone like me writing something like Dawson's Creek. I wouldn't know where to begin. It's not my genre. I don't care for it. I mean, it was a fine TV show in its own right. I'm not saying it was bad, but like, it's a completely different genre, and it's one that I don't have any love for. So,
no,
yeah, makes no sense.
Well, I wouldn't be any good at writing that cheesy Australian soap opera. Was it Home and Away? I wouldn't have the first clue how to write that. Because I don't like it. Because I don't like that kind of show. I wouldn't be able to write decent horror because I'm not a massive horror fan, despite loving Resident Evil immensely. I'm not what you call a horror fan, so I wouldn't. If I was a writer, I wouldn't write horror because I don't know enough about horror. I don't know enough about the source material, you know. But I'm fairly certain if I had the skill, I would be able to write Star Trek because I know it. I've lived it. I've breathed it for all these years. We both have, or all the people in the chat have as well. It's been a massive part of our lives, and I honestly still believe that Seth MacFarlane should be the one to head it. But I think that guy's too busy to even do season 4 of the Orville.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, isn't it?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Apparently, season 4 is all written and ready to go. It's literally just a case of whenever everyone can get together and whenever he's got the time to do it. Xell says we proved we could write Star Trek with our Odyssey pitch. Yeah, absolutely. We wrote outlined 10 episodes of a Star Trek show that is a progressive sequel, or a progression sequel. Set after I think it's 20 years after Nemesis, wasn't it? Something along those lines.
Yeah.
If memory serves me, yeah. Odyssey, Star Trek Odyssey, and I still maintain that would have been really awesome to continue. But I think it needs to. I think it needs to rest. Yeah, sorry about that, DM, says Gooner. We'll keep the chat on and be here in the background tonight. That's absolutely fine, my friend. It can be quite taxing doing a stream, so it's absolutely fine, not a problem. You guys came out with a great concept with Odyssey. Yeah, we loved it, mate. We absolutely loved the idea. It needed an awful lot of fine tuning, I think, and obviously a lot of detail, a lot more detail being put into the episodes. I think had we continued that, we would have been we would have had something pretty special. But I think a lot of Star Trek fans are burned out with it now. They're burned out with this modern interpretation, and also tired of getting gaslit and attacked. It's one thing I have to admit I'm getting absolutely sick of, is being attacked for simply saying this hamburger has shit in it. Please give me a hamburger that does not have shit in it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not too much to ask. My biggest nightmare is Kurtzman getting another contract renewal. Well, look, at this point, if he gets another contract renewal, at this point, the house is already burned down. And he can only attempt to rebuild an inferior house. We have the memories of living in that house, in the original building. We have those memories. They can't be taken away from us. But Kurtzman took over the derelict house and burnt it to the ground. So what's left of it? Well, memories, media, merchandise. The idea, the spirit of Star Trek is alive in us all. So if they shelve it, if he does get a contract renewal, then he'll just continue to mess it up. He'll continue to not get the point. We'll continue to tell it. I would honestly, at this point, I would be flabbergasted if they kept him on. I would be absolutely flabbergasted if they kept it on. I'm fairly certain it would be corporate suicide. Patrick Freedom says we haven't had Star Trek for decades, so there's nothing for me to be offended about. It's a fair point. It's a fair point. Yeah, Xell says my favourite streams I had the pleasure to be a part of. Yeah, those were great streams. Great streams. A lot of people in film and TV will write and produce anything just to justify their paycheck, whether it's good or not. Not much integrity left. No, you're absolutely right. Blu-ray collection of the golden era. Yeah, I think they need to sink money into remastering the original 5. I think that would be the right thing to do. But it's amazing, really, how often we go back to DVDs now. It's just simple DVDs. It doesn't even need to be Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Just pop your DVD in, and there's your show. That's it. And it can't be altered on streaming platforms either. I cannot make that argument strongly enough for physical media. Physical media is so important. It cannot be changed. It cannot be altered. Anisha Mir, I want you to close your eyes and see me. Yeah, that's the same character that went, I broke the law. Do you expect me to sit in a jail cell? Yes, because that's what happens when you break the law. Oh my God.
My biggest nightmare is Kurtzman getting another contract renewal. Yeah, indeed.
Axonar is far better than what Paramount is putting out. But they and all of the fan productions got chopped off at the knees. Yeah, exactly. Because they did. Here's the thing. They don't want the competition because the competition, Terry Metalis proved the competition destroys them. Because they know that the fans really understand Star Trek. And I'll be honest with you. This is why I have hope for Otoy and the work that Carlos and co are doing. Because that has proven time and time again that it is capable of producing more quality in 12 minutes than New Trek has done in 5 series. And in almost a decade of shows. Because we understand Star Trek. The Axonar guys, I absolutely love what they've done. And again, I don't know the ins and outs of what went wrong and all the issues that they've had. I don't claim to know it. I don't really care. Because what they've produced is really good. You know, I've heard a lot about Star Trek Continues. I've not personally watched it. It's something that I must get around to. But fan projects work. And, you know, I look at the intro. I was asked the other day, are you using an illegal copy of Stage 9? It's like, no, I'm using the copy of Stage 9 I got off the internet years ago before Stage 9 got banned. Stage 9 is a fully, well, it's not fully complete. It's not a complete Enterprise D, but it's a fully interactive Enterprise D. You can go in and around anywhere you want. They haven't built it all, obviously. That would be a massive undertaking, and they never finished it because they weren't allowed to because CBS shut them down. Or Paramount, whatever it was. But Stage 9's gorgeous. I'm sorry, it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of software.
Yeah.
Created by fans. And they got a cease and desist, just like other fan films. And CBS comes out with, you can't make any fan film longer than 15 minutes. I'm sorry? What? Otherwise, we'll shut it down. It's like, so, and that's because what you want the monopoly on it. Okay, that's fine. It's your intellectual property, sure. But I'm almost 100% certain they did it simply because they knew the fans would outdo them. Star Trek Continues is brilliant. Highly recommend. I watched it multiple times. I will get around to it. I will get. How Kurtzman had the audacity to pick up that Saturn Award as if he was on par with previous old school Trek bosses. Pathetic. You're a joke and a laughing Kurtzman. Laughing stock Kurtzman, yeah. So, Skirtsman is pretty accurate, especially with the Klingon. We're always talking about fan fiction, but Kurtzman Trek is actually anti-fan fiction. Yeah, it is. Absolutely, it's anti-fan fiction. And for Tawny Twat to get up and say, "I'm a huge fan of Star Trek. I have been for the last 2 years." And then claim, oh yeah, she knows everything. It's like, you actually proved you know nothing. You could not even get Cisco's mother right on Cisco's fucking family tree. Because it said Sarah Cisco, and then I think it had Cisco's sister, and the corporeal. The non-corporeal entity was underneath his sister's name. It was hilarious. It was so funny. They fucked it up. There's that many errors. These fan film guidelines were the first real blow to the fans. They don't care about us old fans. But no, I genuinely think it's a silencing technique to, or you know, to basically stop us from creating better Star Trek. It's disgraceful. Bishop of Rusty Iron. Happy Friday, Danger Man. Agreed, anti-fan fiction. Well, happy Friday to you too, Bishop of Rusty Iron.
I like that moniker, Bishop of Rusty Iron. Lovely.
It's fantastic, yeah. Oh, I do like some of the handles people have. Although I do get a little bit confused between the handles on Discord and the handles on YouTube. I really should make a rule in my Discord for people to at least announce who they are when they come in, because then I'm like, okay, so who's this? Oh, hold on a minute, I know that one. You know, so just marrying them up. Also, I need some conduct rules. I think in Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't start any crap. I do Bishop of Rusty Iron. I do car restorations. Do you do videos on it, mate? Because if you do, you consider yourself having another subscriber. Because I absolutely love that sort of stuff. You should if you don't. Apologies for the grammar. This swipe text is frustrating at times, says Gooner. It's perfectly fine. Not a problem. Yes. And it's disappointing. It's really disappointing. What's happening with entertainment nowadays? I do think we are seeing a change in attitudes towards IPs. Because IPs are value, and now they're looking at it from a value perspective. And if you, it's very clear that Hulu turned down the new Buffy show because they didn't want to damage the brand, and that's a really important factor, and it's something that other companies need to pay attention to. You cannot damage your brand. You damage your brand, you don't have anything. You don't have an IP.
Exactly.
If you make Buffy something other than what Buffy was, you're going to damage it. Just look at Star Trek. It's been absolutely destroyed in terms of its continued existence. You know, look at this year. It's the 60th anniversary, Watch Nerd, of Star Trek. What the freaking hell are we celebrating? Where are all the celebrations? I know that Star Trek Day is coming up, and I can bet you any amount of money that they're going to be focusing on all the new Trek stuff, trying to promote it. They're not going to celebrate what came before.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, it's just going to be a new Trek, kind of like a marathon of dribble. AI slop. Just
Hosted by a drag queen again.
Oh, was that a thing? Was it? That wasn't a meme. I thought it was a meme.
No, it wasn't a meme. It was. So when I first started my channel, around the Picard season 2 mark, I live streamed Star Trek Day, and I made a couple of comments of like they've got a drag queen hosting it. This is Star Trek, and they've got a drag queen hosting it. My live stream was shut down. CBS directly from CBS. I got a notification. CBS has shut down your live stream, and you've got a copyright strike. A fucking copyright strike.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't fuck around with that sort of stuff. Oh, Myth put a super chat in. So glad you did not wear a red shirt and survive watching 10 episodes of Starfleet Academy so that we don't have to. My friend, thank you so much for that. That's very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. I absolutely love when you guys do that. You don't need to, though. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for meeting great people and having fun and trying to stop my brain from dribbling out my ear holes. Annoying Critic says, damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you? Other people have birthdays, why are you treating yours like a funeral? Dr. McCoy. Oh, I love... again, the dialogue, it was brilliant. Especially when Savik's taking the Enterprise out of space dock, and Bones asks Jim do you need a tranquilizer, and this just shakes his head. Oh, Bishop of Rusty Iron, $10. Wow, a pint on me. Thank you so much, sir. I will cherish that pint. Thank you very, very much for that. That's very good of you. Wonderful, wonderful people. You all are. Yeah, I some of the best. Well, can you remember any of your favourite quotes or lines from Star Trek chat and Watch Nerd? What can you remember? What's your favourites?
Oh,
I keep putting you on the spot. I'm really sorry.
I think when Bashir asks Garak, it's like, what was true, and he's like, everything was true, especially the lies.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. I like that. I think it kind of encapsulates their relationship quite well on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Garak and Bashir moments. They kind of provide a bit of. It's interesting because their relationship kind of evolves through the show, because obviously when Bashir arrives, he's fresh out of kind of medical school. Starfleet Academy is very green.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of as time goes on, I guess he gets more and more wise to the world, and he kind of becomes a kind of a friend to Garak. I think they kind of develop a friendship. It's just a bit of a strange one, but yeah, I like that because it's just funny, And then when Garak says, they're telling him a parable, aren't they? Like a parable about someone who lies too much.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? The problem was there. You told the same lie too many times.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you sure that's the point of the story, Doctor? He goes, of course. What else could it possibly be? That you should never tell the same lie twice. Yeah. I love the fact that Garak goes, he made Bashir says, "Oh, he made up the story," and Garak goes, "Clever lad." Oh, we have a super chat from Mauro Botta. Oh, my friend, you're too generous. UK Danger Man. I think not even a Sete Alpha Eel and Khan could be so mean to order someone to watch Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Stealing Genesis? Sure. Watching Starfleet Academy? Too cruel. Even for Khan. Oh, you're far too generous, my friend. Thank you for that. No, absolutely. 100% agree that that would be one really nasty Seti Alpha Eel. Yeah, the lines between Garrick, the dialogue was so perfect, and Garrick was almost a Shakespearean villain without being the villain. He was such a great character, and his dialogue was so tight. But if you look at Deep Space Nine, it's actually got some of the best pairings of all the Star Trek shows. And now I'm not talking about the new Trek pairing of Bashir and Garrick. They can F off with that as far as I'm concerned. Again, just bastardization of what was there.
Yeah, because I think it was more like a, as I say, I always kind of viewed it more as like Garrett was kind of like the equivalent of like an old KGB spy. Do you know what I mean? He was kind of now living in the West.
Yeah.
You know, for want of a better term. And then Bashir was just like a young kind of like green, you know, like Western guy. You know, it isn't an analogy, you know, to what they were.
Absolutely.
And was just learning from him. You know, I didn't get any other vibes from it. I mean, whatever. To each their own. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. Again, too much fan fiction, or anti-fan fiction, as it was said earlier. But if you think about it, you had Odo and Quark, Nog and Jake, Bashir and Garrick, Bashir and O'Brien, you know, Dax and Worf, Dax and Bashir, Dax and Quark. Everybody paired up fairly well. And the characters complemented each other. Not like you're doing an amazing job, not that kind of compliments, but they always worked so well together. And they even tried for an Odo Garrick dynamic, which I think worked, which someone, Mojo Jojo says about Odo and Garrick. It's incredible when you have an ensemble cast that you can write each of the characters with each of the other characters. As another super chat comes in, guys, my God, the support is incredible. Thank you so much. The first duty of, again, one of my favourite lines in Star Trek, the first duty of every Starfleet officer is to the truth, whether it's scientific truth, historical truth, or personal truth. No line like that would exist in New Trek. None. And you know, yes, you can say that I love the original series movies, every single one. I don't even care about 5 being terrible. It's got some great lines in it, absolute gems in terms of dialogue. But there were every original show, every original movie had cracking dialogue. But I think Deep Space Nine was my favourite because the characters were so varied. None of them were bland, and it just worked. They just worked so well together. You know, Enterprise had some really great characters. But they were more difficult to mash together. They were more difficult to... I don't think the personalities really worked quite as well as they did on Deep Space Nine. You could even say the same thing about Voyager.
Yeah.
You know, yes, you had Harry and Kim and Paris. You had Janeway and Chakotay. You had the Doctor in Seven. And the Doctor and Kess, but you never really had like the Doctor and Chakotay. There were a couple of good moments between the Doctor and Tuvok, but Doctor and Paris, Doctor and Kim, the characters didn't quite mesh so well together. in these interactions. And I think this is, again, another reason why I love Deep Space Nine is because the characters were so tight together.
Yeah.
It just worked. Angels Pierre, hello. Sorry I'm late. I hope you're doing great. Mate, no apologies. You can always catch up on the stream. It's absolutely fine. My favourite quote from DS9 is "To the death." The speech which First Metaclon gives. I am First Metaclon, and I am dead. Victory of life. And that speech gives me goosebumps. Yeah, but I also love O'Brien's response. I am Miles Edward O'Brien. I am very much alive, and I intend to stay that way. Love it.
He's great. Mars, Mars. I mean, Deep Space Nine was full of great characters, but yeah, God, Miles O'Brien, what a character! It was great to see his development, you know, from TNG, where he was just like the transporter dude, to like a proper main cast character, and like how he had the pockets for his tools and stuff, and how he was quite gruff but very kind of competent, and yeah, I always liked that.
He was
obviously
the everyman, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a good lad. Good old O'Brien, yeah. A good fella.
Yeah, absolutely. He was... I found him the most relatable in my way, because he's got a short fuse. And I tend to have a short fuse with certain things.
Yeah,
but he's got that Irish short fuse. And I'm of Irish heritage myself. My grandfather was actually Irish. So there's an element of that, and his lines where he's so exasperated, you know, like the bloody Cardassians, I've just got the damn thing fixed. It just took me right back to my youth, and my dad would say, oh, you know, bloody this and bloody that. It was so funny. Some great, yeah. There's but these are all quotes we can remember, partly because we've rewatched these shows time and time again, but partly the other part is they're memorable. You can remember them because they had gravitas, they had impact with you. Name me a quote from New Trek. I'll give you all time, because I can't remember any of them.
I can't even remember like individual episodes really of New Trek. I can remember like aspects of them that have annoyed me.
Yes.
You know, like the Spock ears episode where they did the stupid serum. I remember that.
Yeah.
That bit.
Yeah.
The Vulcan serum. I remember the
Sorry.
So stupid. I remember the nuclear butterfly, the space butterfly. You know that one.
Yeah.
You know, I remember like bits and pieces that were ridiculous, but I don't remember whole episodes in the way. Whereas like with Deep Space Nine and bits and pieces of TNG and stuff, like, and Voyager as well, I'll remember kind of whole outlines of episodes. Do you know what I mean? It's just more memorable to me. You know, like even things I've not seen for ages, like years. And then there's like stuff that I've watched, like, you know, obviously I suffered through season 3 of Strange New Worlds like you, but couldn't give you a plot line of one single episode. I can tell you about bits that were stupid.
Well, I think Xell and me only remember the fairy tale episode, and there was 2 main reasons for that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
You know,
but do you know what I mean? Like that's the only thing you remember. Otherwise, it's just like bits and pieces. Like no idea.
Exactly. Yeah. And Zell's left a super chat as well. Zell, stop it! You're making me blush. Thank you very much. Man. Yeah, just a few. Thank you so much, Xell. Damn it, Bones, you're a doctor. You know that pain and guilt can't be taken away with the wave of a magic wand. They're the things that we carry with us. The things that make us who we are. If we lose them, we lose ourselves. Yeah. I don't want to get rid of my pain. I need my pain. It makes us who we are. Yeah. Thank you, Zal, so much for that. You didn't need to. Myth801 says, I swallowed my calm badge. That was a line in New Trek. I can't believe it. I swallowed my comm badge. I I mean, come on, seriously, how is that ever going to work as a line?
Dude, I know.
It's not believable, is it? That in a elite military stroke scientific organization that only allows the best of the best to enter, you have Bitey McBitison Caleb, who's a convict, and you have Combadge Swallower. Absolutely unbelievable. I think I can recap the entire Starfleet Academy show with one line from Spock himself. Evil does seek to maintain power by suppressing the truth. Yeah, that's a good one, yeah. Oh, Kirk, well, double dumbass on you. Oh, great line. I think of all the movies, 4 had the most comical lines.
Yeah, that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we all remember Wrath of Khan. We all remember, the undiscovered country. But even the search for Spock had some beautiful lines, some beautiful moments as well. And again, it's just stuff that you remember. You can remember all of this wonderful dialogue, and you'd have only seen it once. It's all just goofy memes like flipping through a TikTok feed. Yeah, it's awful. I mean, I will go to the grave before I install TikTok on any device that I own. I absolutely despise the platform. It's awful. Vomiting glitter is highly annoying. Here's number 2 probably smelled like potpourri. I don't know. I think Star Trek 5 has some great lines. Yeah. You don't ask the Almighty for his ID. Yeah, I said earlier, Star Trek 5 is the dialogue is brilliant. Even just the simple ones, like "Hold your horse, Captain," when they're actually riding horses. It's just nice and simple. Oh crikey! There's another super chat come through.
oh wow.
£5 super chat from Stephen Bromby. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm in danger of having to start paying tax on this soon. There are 4 lights. How to say "fu" Picard style. I know he gets memed, but this brilliant reply from the old Baldy there. Yeah, look, Picard has some great lines. The one that I always liked was, I believe it was the one where Gowron chose him as the arbiter of succession, where Picard's accused of something, or he's challenged in some way by Duras, I think, and Picard says, "You may." He offers him a fight or something. Is you may challenge that assumption at any time, and that's Picard's way of saying "fuck around and find out." Essentially, what it boils down to. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's a very, very colourful chat tonight with all the super chats. So thank you very much, everyone. You
may test that assumption at your convenience, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like you may test that assumption at your convenience, which I like. Very Picardism. It's a Picardism, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. What does God need with a starship? Yeah, again, superb. And although it wasn't originally aired on TV because it was a naughty swear word, back in the day, because I only ever saw the TV release. It took me till I bought it on DVD, funny enough, before I realised the extent of what Kirk said the moment his son was murdered. Where he just says, "You Klingon bastards, you killed my son." That moment alone. God, I liked him better before he died. That was Star Trek 5 as well, when they're sitting around the campfire, wasn't it? Yeah. I liked him better before. But it's not just the line, is it? It's the delivery. It's DeForest Keller's delivery of that line. You know, it's God. I liked him better before he died, and Kirk's just going, but calm down.
Yeah.
I put my quote, Tasha Yar, you are fully functional, aren't you? Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good franchise. I'm gonna try and stay till 10:30 daytime, and I'll probably fade.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because
it's been a while since I put you through your paces.
I know, and it's just like you just get to Friday evening, it's like so yeah, yeah, it's been one of those weeks.
I can fully relate. This has probably been one of the hardest weeks I've had in the last year. I had a lot of shortages of people and had to do a lot of work. So yeah, I completely agree. That's I completely understand. Not a problem. I can continue the rest of the stream. It's not an issue. McCoy in Encounter at Farpoint is brilliant too. Yeah. I don't see no points on your ears, boy, but you sound like a Vulcan. Have you seen the Borg meme with this show, where the Borg scan the show's characters and just leave? Yeah, yeah. I saw a similar one with Red Dwarf. Funny enough, it was quite funny. Yeah. But the characters were so consistently written. They were consistent, and that's another thing that Starfleet Academy really didn't have, and that's consistency between episodes, because each episode was written by a different writer. Now, you can do that. That's not a problem. Star Trek had many different writers, but what they did is they wrote in a writer's room, so they were all singing from the same hymn sheet. These guys didn't do that because one episode contradicted the next. And obviously Major Grin's come out with, a decade's worth of videos based on all the mistakes they've made. It's bizarre. How can you write a consistent canonical show if your writers aren't talking to one another?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like it just seems as though it's just been like. I mean, as I say, I didn't watch any of Academy, but as far as I'm aware, there was a different writer for each episode. They obviously weren't talking to each other, and there was no continuity within the season. So it was just like almost as if there was, someone in one room, in an air-gapped room with no internet access, writing an episode, and then someone else would write another episode, and they wouldn't think about how it would fit together. Because obviously, yes, you can have episodic TV, but you kind of want a running thread or some logic within a show, as opposed to just random stuff happening from episode to episode. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, very odd.
Well, that's the format they chose. They wanted a running thread, but they didn't keep the running thread. The Next Generation didn't have a running thread through most of its series. It managed to do episodic television, which is great, but the characters were all consistent. The characters were the running thread. The evolution of the characters was the running thread. But this show, this shit show, had no consistency from episode to episode. And it's like one of the characters, I believe in episode 7, reverted straight back to episode 1 version of his character. Like the writers weren't even aware of what happened to him in the previous episode. So it's literally like someone hit the reset button. It's just bizarre. The only thing they're consistent at is being bad. Yeah, I love the passage of the. I love that passage of the DS9 documentary, What We Left Behind, where the writers come together and outline a hypothetical season 8. That's how you do it. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, annoying critic. You're absolutely right. And I put that in my review. I couldn't believe I was uttering those words. Okay, Federation fire and weaponry, at least for the past few hundred years, has been blue or green. They honestly tried. They honestly, oh my god, they tried to prove something scientific with colors of the explosions.
Interesting.
Because Anus Bracker, that's what I call him anyway. Anus Bracker, Paul Giamatti's character, hates the Federation because he saw the Federation firebomb his colony. And the sky lit up red because they mine this substance, yeah, and apparently the sky's burnt red. And RK says, what colour, that's one of the, I think she asked Caleb, it doesn't really matter who she asked, but she asked Caleb, what colour does this substance burn that they mined? And he goes, red. And then she goes, well, Federation fire has always been blue or green. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you for fucking real? The Federation explosions are blue or green?
Yeah.
I don't understand what I was... oh my god. Yeah, that was a joke. Our blasts are not red; they're blue or green. Facepalm. Yeah. If it was a joke, I honestly thought it was. I honestly thought it turned into a fucking comedy, but it hadn't. You're genuinely being serious.
Well, Jackson. So Red Eye is in Jacksonville, Florida. Nice.
Nice.
So 4 hours behind us.
Mm.
He says they've had, he or she. Sorry, I don't know your gender. Red Eye. We had a few 90 Fahrenheit degrees in February. Wowzers.
What? How hot is 90 degrees in centigrade?
32 Celsius. No, I think.
Good lord.
32. This individual was saying they had the AC on. I was like, I'm not surprised.
Do you remember a few years ago that really hot week in February we had? And it reached, I think it reached about 28 in February.
That was weird.
That was weird. I believe that was the same year that England turned gold, if you recall, because we had that much hot weather. The countryside, all the crops turned literally gold. All the grass turned gold. People's grass out in the back gardens, the front gardens, it all turned pretty much a shade of gold because it was dying, because it wasn't getting enough water.
Wasn't that 2022? That was a very hot summer, wasn't it? I remember.
Was it 2022?
I remember in that summer sitting, obviously, because at that time I solely worked from home. And I was sitting with like ice packs on my legs because obviously my computer was generating heat.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any AC. You know, no one in England really does.
No.
And I kept putting like the ice packs back in the freezer and taking new ones out just to, cool myself down, because I was wearing shorts, obviously.
Wow.
My laptop was obviously giving off heat, and that was how I was cooling myself down. So yeah, I have quite vivid memories of that.
Yeah, it was. There has been some hot. I mean, we're England, so we don't traditionally get extreme weather in terms of the sort of American winters can, icicles are forming sideways, with wind chill. It's crazy, but we don't. And when we do get extreme weather, it does. It's not probably not as extreme as everywhere else, but we're just simply not prepared for it. It's like snow. We get snow. It could be, I don't know, 3 inches of snow, and the country practically comes to a standstill. We're useless. But it's mainly because we are the Goldilocks country, I suppose, in a Goldilocks area, in that it's not really too hot and it's not really too cold. So we don't tend to have snow chains on our tires. We don't tend to have a set of tires like that. We don't have the infrastructure to cope when it does snow, but it snows so rarely that it's not worth investing the money in. It's bizarre. Angels Pierre says, I've seen so many space comedies that are so much better than and more serious than this show. Mate, I put Red Dwarf up as a candidate. Season 7 of Red Dwarf was their genuine attempt to do a comedy drama, and I think it worked. It strayed a little bit away from what Red Dwarf was. It was a great experiment, but I'd say Red Dwarf is arguably better than this show. And their sets were built out of freaking Dell keyboards and Microsoft keyboards. You know what I mean? It's bizarre.
Yeah, that was a great show, wasn't it? But
it
didn't take itself too seriously, but it was a good show. And I think I've always been of the opinion that if something is a faithful kind of homage to something, or it's a faithful attempt, I'll be very forgiving of it. So that's why with like Star Trek video games that perhaps aren't the best. They're not AAA titles, no. But they're good fun. And that's okay. Like, I'm like, okay, it's faithful to the IP, whatever. I like playing them. Whereas with anything I think I kind of feel that, we're being kind of made fun of, I'm like, no, it's not okay. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for example, if you had, I don't know, let's just say you had a Star Trek invasion type shooter that you could pilot something the size of a starship, not just a little fighter, but a starship, for example. Say Star Trek Legacy, that was a good PC game.
Yeah.
And you had the choice of piloting, we'll just say Voyager, like you do in the new Voyager game, and the only other ship available was the Discovery. I know which ship is getting mothballed by the fan base. Because the Discovery is a pile of crap. It's an ugly ship. It's so unappealing. Quark is the best space comedy. Yeah. Quark's amazing. My family, my wife, my kids, they say, "Oh, we love Quark. Quark's so funny." Because Quark's that little voice inside of all of us.
He's such a character. Yeah.
And he's unrelenting in some ways, because he is the bastion of Ferenginar. He is as Ferengi as they come. And I love the fact that he ultimately sort of reverts towards the end when Rom becomes the new Nagus, and he's sort of like, no, I'm going to stand for Ferengi values. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna water down the drinks. I'm gonna rig the Dabo tables. I'm gonna cheat people out their money. I'm going to be a Ferengi. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Quark was a great character. Rom and Nog were the best characters in terms of development. Because Nog's story arc is second to none.
Oh god, yeah.
Second to none. Yeah. He has the best story arc of the entire cast of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that was it was amazing. And watching it as a grown up now, I guess, you know, it has a whole kind of new, I guess, kind of you can kind of get the layers, and Nog's character development is something I really only truly appreciate as an adult. I think, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't really appreciate it as a child, but wow, from like a little kid who was, you know, a bit of a miscreant and just couldn't read, and you know, like proper down and out, to, you know, someone who was like a proper scholar, and, you know, going to Starfleet Academy and was, you know, an active combatant in the Dominion War. It's great. What a great arc. It was done so well as well. Like, as with most other things in Deep Space Nine, the characters were they're the best, the most well developed, most well rounded. The interpersonal relationships were very interesting. Yeah, it was just a pure tapestry. That's how I describe Deep Space Nine, and that's why I kind of love it so much. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you were, I always think it's a good idea to think of it as this. Think of it from this point of view. With any character in a show that's been and done, it's had its run. With any character, if you watch the first episode that they appear in and the last episode that they appear in, that's where you see the real contrast in changing character. If you see, even in one season, if you see the development that a character has, and there's a difference, you know that the writers are doing their job.
Yeah.
This shit show, you do that with any one of these characters, and none of them have changed at all, in the slightest. Tetrarch of Apathy says, "Hail all, leaving for work soon. I'm anticipating the replay." Oh, bless you, mate. Yeah. I hope I don't disappoint. But yeah, none of the characters in the show have a start and end. They don't grow at all. There's no difference at all. Hello, Jamie Ives. Good to see you here, my friend.
Hello. Good evening.
Yo. Yeah. Red Eye, Quark the character or the short-lived 70s TV series starring Richard Benjamin, both are great. Yeah. Oh. DS9. I could just do stream after stream talking about DS9. I love DS9. I'd love to just review every episode, including Move Along Home, which would be hilarious.
Oh, good, yeah.
You guys out there, if you haven't hit that like button on the stream and you are enjoying it, please let me know that you are by hitting that button, that big thumbs up, and sharing the stream if you haven't already. Share it anywhere. It's always good to get the word out, as they say. So, yeah. Any final thoughts from you, Watch Nerd? Are you maybe wanting to do a season 2 of this show, or shall we just stick to For All Mankind?
No, I don't want to do any more new Trek. I'm happy to do For All Mankind, obviously, because I'll be watching it anyway. Obviously, again. Yes. Yeah, anyone who hasn't watched it, I suggest definitely watching it. It's on Apple TV. You can get like a free trial. via many mediums, via a new product or just a free trial for 3 months. Yeah, great show. Ronald D. Moore's involved. That's all you really need to know. Very good characters. Season 5 is coming out next Friday. I think the first episode is out next Friday, if I remember correctly. Is it next Friday?
Yep.
So yeah, you'll binge it. It's a great show, and yeah, lovely acting. It's just a nice kind of antidote to New Trek. I think any Star Trek fan will like it. Definitely. The alternative reality, with the Soviets landing on the moon first, and then that kind of continuation of the space race and how it might have kind of spurred us all on. Interesting, really interesting. So yeah, I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it to you all. But yeah, I am fading now, so I'll probably take my leave. But as I say, to anyone listening, live long and prosper. Have an amazing weekend, and take care, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining, watching it. It's been nice to talk to you again.
No, 100%. Me too. Loved it. As I say, hopefully I've done all right. I'm a bit rusty.
You're fine. You're absolutely fine. Much love to you.
Okay. Much love to you all, guys. Thank you, and good night. Bye-bye.
Good night. And then there was one remaining. So guys, I'm gonna stick around and have a chat with you all. It's my chance to catch you, to catch up with everything, to have a good old natter. For those of you who aren't in the Discord, then please consider joining the Discord. It is free, and it is an open invitation. I'm gonna have to write some rules for the Discord though, because that was a very interesting experience the other day. I still hope Paramount saw the massive backlash and cancelled season 2. It's unlikely, but I can hope, says Angels Pierre. Yeah, I'm not sure whether they are in a holding pattern right now until Kurtzman contract runs out. I'm not sure whether they're biding their time. It all depends on what they think season 2 is. If season 2 is anything like season 1, then I would suggest that they are going to perhaps I would say Batgirl it, get the tax write-off, but Kurtzman has to save face in some respects, so maybe it's a case of, well, the second season's filmed, you know, Strange New Worlds is in the can. It's coming out in the summer. Season 5 is going to be next year, as well as season 2 for this shit show. I don't know. I would say it's worse than season 1. Says Angel Pierre. Season 2 needs to be Batgirl, says Xell. They may be obligated to show it. I'm kind of agreeing on that one. Happy to hang out and enjoy the chin wag. Wow, so do I. I love Friday nights. Basically next week there won't be a 10 forward on Friday night. We're off out to a comedy gig, but the whole family this time, so yeah, we won't be doing 10 forward on Friday. I may do it on Saturday night instead, because it will be a For All Mankind stream with Watch Nerd, and I highly recommend, if you haven't seen For All Mankind, that you start watching it. It's great. They should launch season 2 into the sun. Yeah, probably. Either way, we could still have a good laugh at season 2 for the unintentional comedy New Trek currently is. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I made a YouTube channel out of Picard season 2, and that was just one long massive acid trip. I just, I think that I think the damage has been done for the most part. New Trek's not going to recover, and that's another question really that the current custodians need to answer. but they need to have their answer. They need to answer this. Is it going to get better? Is it going to recover? Is their iteration of Star Trek going to recover? And so far, the answer is no. I don't think it can recover. I don't believe season 2 would have matured at all, since no audience feedback went into changing Academy. It's just their own feelings whilst doing it. Yeah, well, the fact that as I said earlier, season 2 has been filmed back to back with season 1. They can't adjust season 2. They'll have to go back and refilm it based on the audience backlash. But then they came out of the gate. Here's the thing: that you coming out of the gate trying to promote something, and the first thing you say is, "I'm ready for the fans to tear it to pieces." Tells you everything that you need to know, does it not? I'm ready for the fans to tear it all to pieces. Well, then you can't have an awful lot of faith that the fans are going to enjoy it. So why are you making it in the first place? Rich commentary material, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't foresee it being very good. And obviously, Giamatti is not going to be back for the next season. They've already said that. He was literally a season 1 villain and he's done. My fear is that some alien species out there will see this and think it's a real representation of who we are. I have had exactly the same thought, my friend. Oh, and Mojo Jojo, £5 super chat. Thank you so much. That's very generous. I want season 2 cancelled, but I don't, because the reviews are awesome. Laugh out loud. Maybe it's a good thing. More of this abomination is shown. It self-shames. Yeah, I suppose we're all keeping you in bites, DM. Yes, I don't think my liver's going to survive the next year. Mind you, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't drink. When I do have a drink, it's probably 1 or 2 drinks a year. Usually special occasions, if I'm out on a date with the wife, if we don't have to drive anywhere. I just became used to with, especially with 4 children, I just became used to staying sober in case anything happened, in case one of them, fell off their bed, which they have done, fell down the stairs, which they have done, walked into walls, which, well, they're my kids, so they're definitely going to do that. Any trips to the A&E, we've had all sorts. I just think it's always a good idea for one of us to be sober, and to be fair, it's always me. So I don't drink an awful lot, but I do have some pretty nice spirits up on the shelf just for a rainy day when I don't have to drive anywhere. I respect that. Great to set a good example for the kiddos. Yeah, I try to set the best example I can for the kids, but they are getting older. They're I think the oldest is going to be 16 soon. Where the time flies. And he's going to be getting driving license next year. Ouch. Yeah, that hurts. You're a good, responsible father. DM modern Hollywood would despise you, to be honest. Yeah, I'm sure they would. I'm sure they do anyway. If they care enough about my poxy little channel, but they cared enough to give me a couple of copyright strikes. You can't use our material. You're praising older Trek. Me. I love drinking when it feels right. Yeah. Oh, I tell you, there's nothing quite like a hot summer's day, sitting in a beer garden, just having that ice cold pint. That is a nice, refreshing drink, isn't it? That's why I barely drink. I Very tipsy while I was away with one bottle of wine. Also, wine makes me very lovey-dovey, and it's embarrassing. Yeah. I don't like losing control of my. I don't like losing control. I don't like losing control of my faculties and everything. But yes, yeah, the beer garden, refreshing beer is always nice. But also, I mean, I can drink. I can go through Jack Daniels. I can do half a bottle of Jack and not get drunk. But I have a single beer, and I'm all over the place. I get so drunk so easily on just beer. I went on a 17-hour stag do a couple of years ago, which I swear on my children, I would never doing that again. That was such a long day. Don't get me wrong, it was a great day, but it was such a long day, and I was knackered by the time I got home. But I remember we went to a field sports place, and then we went to a Birmingham escape room. We did the escape room, and then went to the Peaky Blinders pub. And I had, genuinely, I don't mind telling you, I had 2 bottles of Desperados, and I was staggering around Birmingham for the rest of the day until I finally had something to eat in the evening. I'm such a lightweight when it comes to beer, but spirits I can just drink and drink and drink and drink. And Mojo, or like you said, on those rainy days or nights, just a wee sip, maybe after a long day when it's quiet, watching a good show with no work in the morning. Those times, oh yeah, I don't ever drink on a school night. I call it a school night because all the kids are at school and I have to go to work. But yeah, I never drink on a school night. 60 and live alone with my dog. Sucky. White wine I partake when I like. Oh, you're living the life. You're living the life. I'll get there eventually. At least you don't vomit glitter. Oh, God. I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure it would be an easier clean-up either. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure that it glitter's a nightmare to get out of the carpet. You know, back in the arts and crafts days of my when my children was smaller, we always did glitter, and man, it got everywhere. I remember servicing my PlayStation 4 and finding glitter in there because it just gets everywhere. So the idea that an alien in Star Trek would vomit glitter, explain the mechanics behind that. Explain how biologically, a biological entity can vomit tiny shards of shiny plastic. It's just nuts. I did something like that one time, drinking with the lads for a full day. After I experienced that withdrawal experience drinks have, never again. Yeah. Yeah. One night with Jaden and glitter, I imagine. God. Xell, everybody. Xell, ladies and gentlemen. They can't. This show doesn't have a science advisor, and it shows. Yeah. It's not science fiction. This is not rooted in science. I wouldn't even say it's a fantasy. Because who'd fantasize about it? It's just nonsense. The entire thing is stupid. There's no respect for the source material. No respect whatsoever. In microplastics, fish people's worst enemy. Yeah, you're not wrong there. That's a good point. That's a good point. Oh dear. Jesus. Plastic in the ocean. Yeah. They don't understand how air pressure works either. Maybe the whole thing will be just like a dream sequence. Miles O'Brien waking up in a sweat. I think that should be a sub-dream experience from the episode Hard Time. After he'd killed his cellmate, he should have been dreaming up New Trek. So now, Jesus, I'm never going back there again. I'm more respectful to canon with my Orzel Dax blog than Starfleet Academy. Again, Jamie, fans of the show will create better stuff than the current custodians. I bet his kryptonite is those peering plastic things. Yeah. They don't respect Legacy Trek because they think their new version is so much better. The evidence speaks otherwise, though. Yeah. Hasn't O'Brien suffered enough? O'Brien hasn't suffered enough. He needs to suffer more. Build character. All this New Trek is just Benny Russell on a bad trip with the Par Wraiths. Benny Russell. Don't even get Benny Russell. Benny Russell's in the Starfleet Cisco Museum, because they have to have a museum. Benny Russell's typewriter's there. It's like Benny Russell wasn't real, and the typewriter never existed. Benny Russell was a dream, a vision from the prophets. Now you might want to represent that in a museum with a physical typewriter. Fine, fair enough, but I think it shows a lack of awareness. The Dax thing, I forgot about them. People bring it up again. Yeah. Tawny Newsom as Dax. What was she? Half Cardassian, half... I don't even know anybody. Half Trill. Cardassian Trill. Oh, she's like a fan, though. She's been like a fan for the last few years. She's not lived and breathed this franchise for the past 30, 40, 50, 60 years. The only thing's worse than this show are the people defending it. And if you ask for concrete things, scenes instead of feelings, you get silence. Yeah, yeah. They'll defend it by gaslighting you. That's what they do. I mix paint for a living, says Red Eye. There's a glitter additive I had to put into paint. Came home from work and had bits of glitter in my hands and my arm. My late wife, bless you, my friend, saw it and was like, "Who have you been with?" Oh, my friend, your job got you in trouble. Oh, bless you. I don't mean to laugh, but that's quite funny. Who have you been with? It's like, honestly, though, I'm just mixing paint. Oh. Yeah, maybe Riker calls from offstage left. Computer freeze program. I think they should have Riker during the Pegasus episode that fed into that god-awful Enterprise finale, and say, I just turned to Troy after that simulation, so I'm ready to talk to Admiral Pressman, and have him just walk out of the holodeck going, "But I do have an interesting program to show you later on, Deanna, if you want to, a bit of a horror story," and then just have it be Discovery. I loved Brock Peters as Sisko's father. You really believed who he was. Yeah, he played Admiral Cartwright as well in the movies. He was really good. There was, again, it was believable that the characters were father and son because the love that they showed each other. And again, with Sisko and with Avery Brooks and Cirroc Lofton. Yes, Xell, there are people defending this show. Vehemently. Facebook, if you go on Facebook, I know it's a cesspit of hell, but you go on Facebook groups, it's just endless bots defending the show. But there are people out there who are going, this show, it was really good. I really liked the characters' growth. It's like, what? Tony Newsom as Dax is blasphemy. Mate, it's worse than blasphemy. Most self-inserted thing ever. Yeah. Riker says, yeah, let's not do this. It's inexcusable to me. Inexcusable what they're doing, but they won't stop until they're made to stop. That's the problem. Until they're made to stop, they won't stop. Kurtzman won't stop. He believes in what he's doing so vehemently. It's silly. It's a silly, silly, silly thing. Truly bizarre. You know, I was thinking about the lines, that, you know, the famous quotes from Star Trek earlier that we were talking about earlier, and I think almost every Picard speech needs to go on that list. Because I know that I've actively taken the piss out of what they've done with Captain Picard and Patrick Stewart being so much older than he was, but I believe that Patrick Stewart delivered every Picard speech perfectly, with passion for what he was saying. He wasn't just reading a script. He wasn't just memorizing lines. He was speaking. He was speaking those words from his heart whenever he was on screen. And I honestly think, you know, it's like one that springs to mind is the Q episode where with Amanda Rogers, I think her name was, and it turns out she's a Q. And Picard's speech to Q, you know, I can think of nothing worse than that you should destroy this young girl whose only crime is that she's too human. Again, just wonderful words. Paramount will get another penny from me as long as Kurtzman is executive. Yeah, well, Paramount... Okay, so look, you can get... On Paramount Plus, you've got all the new shows, right? You can get Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Star Trek Lower Deck, Star Trek... I don't think Prodigy actually has a home. I'm not sure. You know, you can get Starfleet Academy and Star Trek Picard and all that crap. And you're paying a subscription. So if you're wanting to go somewhere for Star Trek, Paramount Plus probably isn't the place to go. Because you can get Star Trek, you can get all 5 classic series just on DVD. Go on eBay. You can get them all on DVD. TOS, TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise are all there. And then you have them. Then you don't need... And then you can even find software to rip the files, stick them on a hard drive, get a server going. You've got them readily available then. Do it all legally, of course. But you've got them all readily available. You don't need Paramount Plus. You don't need to pay that money out. Now I've got them all on DVD, and I won't ever give them up. It's pointless. And, you know, it's a sea of streaming platforms now. It's a fierce market. The competition is fierce. But it's becoming like cable TV. It's just naturally evolving into the same thing every time. Yeah, have them all golden era here. Yeah, I've shown off my my Star Trek DVDs before. Ain't no way I'm getting rid of them ever. And to be fair, I think I may just invest a little bit of money just to get some replacements and store them away just in case. I have them on VHS. I still have a few VHSs. Yeah, I when I was a kid, we were friends. The family were friends with a video store owner. Bless him. I won't name him, obviously. I think he passed away. I'm not entirely certain. I think he did pass away. But they used to get time-coded copies of films. So they would be preview versions of the films. So they could gauge how many they wanted to order to rent out. And they usually got them a couple of months before the movie came out for rental. And he would give me the time-coded copies of the Star Trek films. Most notably, Star Trek Generations, Star Trek First Contact, and I believe Insurrection as well. So I had the original time-coded copies. And all it was... the only difference was you had a time code on the top right, and you had, for screening purposes only, come across the screen every sort of 20 minutes. And I had early access to the films. It was great. It was fantastic. Love, and I don't think I have them anymore. I think I had to get rid of them. But they always came in a much larger case, so you knew it was a preview. And on the back, it just had sample written over it. But it was great. It was a great thing to own. DVD is the best. They don't edit those like they do on the streams to shelter people from bad ideas. Yeah, and you don't get any fucking warnings. I'm sorry to swear so much, but those fucking sensitivity warnings at the beginning of games and TV shows. This was made for a different era. You may find some of the subjects offensive and it may hurt your feefies. It's like, what? You are preparing people for stuff that we just grew up with. Stop being so sensitive. Let's just pray the new guy at Paramount really is the Messiah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know enough about him. I am hoping that there's good things on the horizon. But like I said, I don't want to see Star Trek on TV anymore. I don't want to see it on TV. I want to see it in merchandising. That's where I want to see it. I want to see games. I want to see model kits. I want to see action figures. I want to see die-cast models. I want to see, board games. I want to see Lego sets, everything. I want to see all of that stuff, but with the classic OG Star Trek. And I guarantee you, it's a mine. It's a gold mine. If they took it off the air, and they could be really clever, they could market a show before it ever gets released through the merchandise. Or they could just give me a ring and say, we like your concept for Star Trek Odyssey. Would you care to have a chat with us? I'll happily have a chat with you. I'll get Xell and Watch Nerd on, and we'll reform the band. Swear as much as you like. It's past the 30-minute mark. Oh, mate, to be fair, I have to try and cut down my swearing because it could affect my job as well. If I do it too much, I'll end up doing it at work, and that wouldn't be a good thing. Disney is especially guilty of the sensitivity warning nonsense. So tone deaf. Mate, they put it on the goddamn Tomb Raider series, Tomb Raider remasters. Why? It's Tomb Raider, for crying out loud. What is... Oh. There is a Star Trek fan D&D campaign, which is pretty good. cool. You should really get into Star Trek Continues and also do reviews on those episodes. It will give me another reason to watch it again, as if I really need one. And you'd have a really good time after Starfleet Academy. I really should. I really should, I suppose. Xell, I'm still meaning to catch up with you, and have a good old natter. It's just been so busy. It's almost like I've got very limited supply of spoons. It's so weird. I'm pretty drained most of the time, but no, I want to catch up. And to be fair, I'd like to work on Odyssey again. I really would. Maybe do separate streams. I have to think about it. I have to do a massive technology overhaul because I can't even use my camera at the minute because it's just too delayed. I've currently got an Intel i3 PC running this stream, and it's struggling to keep up. It is a very old PC. This is actually the PC I started my YouTube channel on, and it's struggling to handle basic streaming. So I think some overhauls are needed. Obviously, the price of RAM at the minute and the price of PCs in general is sky high. So I'm trying to find an alternative. My former editing PC upstairs, that's now incompatible. Well, it's incompatible with Windows 11, so I can't upgrade it. Windows 10 support has ended. Really, the most advanced thing I've got is my laptop, and I want to try and keep that for video editing because I think I'm getting pretty good at it now. Yeah, there we go. Super Chat's fund a new rig, mate. It all goes into a pot, and I am getting somewhere with it. So I'm hoping to be able to sort that out. But I have to get Xell. Stop it! Thank you so much. Super Chat from Xell, mate. I get you've been busy. I know what it's like given my situation, but I'll make the time for you when you're ready. Oh, my friend. Bless you. Intel i3, did you buy that PC back in the Neolithic era? Actually, it was the Mesozoic era, my friend. Myth, have to go UKDM. Thanks for another nice Friday evening. Oh, it's always nice to have you all here. And thank you so much for joining. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Myth. Yeah, look, the Intel i3 was gifted to me. Actually, it's a former business PC, and it was just gifted to me by a friend. And he says it will actually make quite a nice little streaming PC. For way back when, this was 5-6 years ago, and it was already obviously dated. Xell says I still own floppy disks. Yeah, that's just a sign of your age, mate. But yeah, it was gifted, and to be fair, it has been a real trooper because I edited all my Picard videos on there. All my initial videos got edited on that PC, and it's only a small form factor PC. It's tiny, really. The i7 I've got upstairs is, like I said, it's just not compatible with Windows anymore. So I'll have to figure something out with that. Although I'm using my super i9 laptop. I've got an IT guy. He's really good. Everybody needs an IT guy. I have a laptop that still runs Windows Vista, but Adobe Flash Player was killed off, so it doesn't play video any longer. That sucks. Yeah, I've got a Vista laptop. It's an Acer Aspire, and it's got a tuba base system in the hinge, and it sounds incredible for a laptop. You know, laptops usually sound really tinny, especially the cheaper ones. This one was incredible. It had the tuba base on it. Absolutely incredible laptop it was, and I've still got it upstairs. Phenomenal. Safe to say Windows Vista support has ended. But yes, I will have to... I'm keeping an eye out for something that's just... All I want, really, is a PC that is going to be continuously capable of running a stream and dealing with a little video load. It's not going to be editing. It's not going to be doing anything strenuous. It's literally going to run a YouTube stream from OBS, and that's it. Using all the peripherals and making sure that Discord operates and works. But the delay is just terrible on this thing. It really is. And it really does struggle. I wonder what it's like now. Let me switch the camera on. Show you all my attractive face. Turn on the camera. Let's see. It's not too bad of a delay. It's not too bad, to be fair. Bye bye. But yeah, it's just the more people come into Discord, the worse it gets. It's absolutely bonkers. As you can see by the thumbnail, excuse me, I had a little fun with AI earlier. Just some AI generation. Obviously, the picture that I had of me in the uniform, we were having some fun as a family, and I decided, I'll get that. But I did have some fun with the AI, and I managed to get some really good stills, and I think I'll use them in my videos, much akin to Dave Cullen, the way he does it. It was starting to glitch, yeah, mate. Genuinely, it was a great PC, but it's becoming useless. And what's funny is the i3 is running Windows 11 really well. It does a pretty good job for a basic machine, but my i7 won't do it. It's incompatible. So crazy. Bring back sexy face. Nah, I don't want to traumatize people. So yeah, the plan is after next week, 10 forward will probably be on the Saturday if I can get it arranged. Like I say, we're out on the Friday. The following week, I won't be doing a 10 forward on the Friday at all. It'll be a few weeks before we're back on track on Fridays. It'll be more Saturdays, to be fair, because we're just too busy. And we'll be doing some For All Mankind streams. I want to get to 100 episodes, 10 forward, then take a break. But we'll see where that lies with Strange New Worlds, because I'm going to have to endure that crap again, and then get insulted because I've got an opinion on the show. So if you don't already know, by the way, I actually have a gaming channel which I'm hoping to get back to at some point. That's called UKDM Gaming. If you haven't already visited over there, then yeah, pop over there and have a look. UKDM Gaming. I'd been doing some gaming streams earlier last year while I had a hiatus, and I was really enjoying it. I just haven't done anything with it lately. But yeah, head on over there if you haven't already. I do miss doing some gaming. I've gamed a lot with Resident Evil Requiem. I've completed it 100%, like done everything. Got the platinum trophy, done all the challenges. Did that in about 2 weekends. It took 3 weekends. Yeah. So from the 27th of February to now, which is the 20th. Well, I suppose it would have been Tuesday I finished it. Yeah. Completely strip mined the game. Subbed. Thank you very much, Bishop of Russia. I'm very, very nice of you. Yes, it's I was a bit annoyed really because I spent a fair few weeks working on a Resident Evil Let's Play, and it was think it was about 7 or 8 parts, and I put such a lot of effort in to those Let's Plays, where I put in special I did a special intro specifically for each video. I did special thumbnails, individual thumbnails for each video. I'd even put little fact boxes in a Resident Evil style typewriter in the corner, with loads of different Resident Evil facts. I put so much effort into it, and the videos got like 30 views each. Some of them are less, and some of them are a lot less. And it was so gutting because I'd invested so much time into making sure these videos were as good as possible. And yeah, it just went nowhere. The streaming the classic, the retro games, that was starting to sort of launch off a little bit. So yeah, it was disappointing. It was disappointing, and I never really went back to it. But I should. I rarely complete my games 100%. I don't have the nerve. I usually get bored before. There are only a handful I went out of my way to do side content. Yeah, I do the same thing. I've never completed a GTA game. Not once. Not a single GTA game. I've never completed a GTA game. I don't have that sort of drive to get 100% a GTA game. They're too big. I didn't even complete the original GTA. I always had so much fun just piss-arsing around in it. But story games I will play, and if I really want to, usually Resident Evils, I will platinum them. I've platinumed Resident Evils, most of them. I've platinumed the Uncharted games. I believe what else have I platinumed? I've platinumed Burnout Paradise like 3 times. I like the platinum trophies. They give me a sense of achievement where nothing exists. Crazy. But yeah, I was wondering if and when you were going to continue a playthrough of Star Trek you were playing. Star Trek Resurgence. Mate, that has literally just been... I haven't had the time. No, sorry. I've had spare time, but I've dedicated it to other things. I really was enjoying that playthrough of that game. And I did go back to it once, I think about 6 months ago. If it's something you guys want to see, I'll finish it. I haven't actually played the game in the background or anything, so every time I start a stream, it will start in exactly the same place that I left off in the previous stream. So it'd be a good series to make. But if you guys want to see it, I'll put some time aside over the next couple of weeks, see if I can get it done, because I want to finish the game. I don't know anything about the end of the game, so it'd be nice to finish it. It is a superb title, so yeah, and I'll do it on this channel. Yeah, this channel, I have to be kind of conservative with this channel in some respects. Because tax brackets and everything like that. There's a hobby tax in the UK. I'm under that at the minute. I have to be very careful, so I don't want to have to start paying tax and filling out all these bloody forms. But more so content. My Academy videos have varied a little bit in success depending on when I've released them, but they never really fell under 1,000. They always reached over 1,000 views, and sometimes they went up to a highs of 6,000 views, which was great. I've just released the visitor video, and I don't even think that's cracked 100 yet. 100 views, and that's been out 2 days now. It was 95. Now it's at 97 views. So anything and I was thinking about this the other day. I've created an audience that want to, the majority of them want to see me rip on New Trek. So when I do something meaningful with a review of classic Star Trek, like the little reviews I've been doing, I think there's 4 in total now. When I do videos like that, nobody watches them, because that's not what my audience is there for. You guys have no doubt watched them, but the majority of those subs won't watch it. And if the majority of the subs aren't watching your content, the algorithm does not push it. And it's taken me a while to realize that. So if I release an Academy video that's slagging off Academy, people are more likely to watch that. All the subs are more likely to watch that, and then YouTube pushes it further and I get more subs. So really, and it's all audience based. It's why I'm struggling with this channel at the minute. And don't get me wrong, it's a success as far as I want it to be a success. I love this channel, but it's with YouTube, it's finding the right formula and remembering that your audience has subscribed to you because of the content that you've done. So when you change your content, such as making positive reviews about decent Star Trek, that's not what they're there for. They're not interested. They want to see you rip on, or they want to see me rip on New Trek. The way the Critical Drink has done it is actually friggin' genius, because he's built an audience based on both positive and negative opinions about films. He's got Drinker Recommends, and then he's got his normal reviews, which usually tear things apart. But he's built his audience based on reviewing everything. I don't have that. This channel, I'm a victim of the early days of this, the early sort of push of this channel, because I had a very specific audience, the audience that wanted to take the piss out of Star Trek, and a lot of them aren't coming back. They're still subscribed, but they're not coming back because they've got such apathy for what's happened to Star Trek. A lot of them come back just through morbid curiosity. They're not actually watching the content themselves. They're watching my content, or disprove Dave Cullen and all, Molly and oh god, what's the name? I forget the name of the channel now. But yeah, they're watching all of these different channels because they want that negative reaction, and I don't blame them. That's what they came to the channel for. So I'm taking a step back and thinking, what can I do next? Because I want to review decent Star Trek. I want to review DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, all these great episodes. But you have greater considerations, because if I say, okay, so I'll leave this channel to New Trek stuff, and I'll create a new channel which focuses on positive reviews for decent Star Trek, then I get those people watching. But then you have to jumpstart it because it's not current topic. I played the demo of that new Voyager game, and sorry, I did go on a tirade there, didn't I? I played the demo of that new Voyager game, and oh dear, what a disappointment. When we're buying the full version, right. In Across the Unknown, that's what it is, isn't it, Stephen? I honestly thought it would be kind of like a Telltale game, kind of like Resurgence, where you could follow a certain narrative and make certain decisions, like saving Tuvex, and have it different outcomes for all of your decisions, kind of like a heavy rain type of deal. I thought that would have been more interesting, because then you do have control over Voyager's journey. You could say, right, okay, do you could have key chapter points as big as the key elements of the show, key plot points of the show, like the Krenim, obviously the Kazon. You could have two Vics, the 37s. You could decide to let half your crew stay on the planet, or your crew decided to want to stay on the planet. You could say, right, okay, so half of you get to stay, the other half have to come, and that could make your game even harder. There's a lot that they could have done with the concept of that game, and they could have even got the original cast back to do the voices, to do the voice work. It could have been quite an epic experience, and it I think it's a little bit less personable in the style that they've done it. I have played a little bit of the preview, a little bit of the demo. I think it looks very nice. The layout of the decks and everything looks really fun. But yeah, Star Trek games lack presence. They're all strategy, usually just strategy or RPG games. I prefer dogfight games, to be fair. I prefer Star Trek Invasion. I prefer Elite Force, and I like Star Trek Encounters. They were really great games. You could transform your ship into a Borg ship. No way. Gets assimilated. Yeah, nuts. Absolutely crazy. Right, I'm going to call 10 minutes on this stream, I think. Yeah, I'm going to call 10 minutes on the stream, because I'm starting to get a little bit tired now, and we're approaching the 3-hour mark anyway. So 10 minutes, get your chats in, get your comments in, ask your questions, ask away. I love story-based RPGs, yeah. The thing is, RPGs were great when I was younger. I used to love playing RPGs. Turn-based RPGs, strategy-based RPGs. Command and Conquers, your Final Fantasies, the more mainline stuff I usually gravitated towards. But I find now that I'm older, I don't have the patience for them. I'm a much more on the rails kind of gamer now. I don't want to think too much about my game. I used to play board games a lot. We don't play board games anymore because I don't have the level of concentration I need in order to participate. It's tough to put that time aside. Yeah, you're right. Xell, I can't say I'm massively surprised about that. You've been playing the Legacy of Kain remasters. That does not surprise me at all. And to be fair, I've got a couple of them on my Steam Deck. I started playing one, but unfortunately, again, time and environment, it was a tad too distracting because the kids just got into an argument, so I put it down and never picked it back up again. But Bishop, you're absolutely right. It's tough to put that kind of time aside when you've got other projects to do. That's why I kind of enjoy streaming, because I get to do two of my favourite things at once. I get to game and stream at the same time. And it is fun, because I did Silent Hill. I played through Silent Hill and completed it for the first time ever. Because I always played Silent Hill when I was younger, but I didn't complete it. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got upstairs. I can always hide away if I need to. But yeah, I've got kids going through exams and stuff. It's hard to find the time to do these videos, these Starfleet Academy videos. I have to do a full day's work and then spend time on a video when I get home. It's exhausting. I don't get bed till about 11:30 at night, and then I have to be up at 4:30 in the morning, following day. It's exhausting. Then doing the stream in the evening. I'm knackered half the time. So in some ways, I'm thankful that there's only 10 fucking episodes. I just wish there were less. Honestly, I just wish there were less. Crazy. What you guys think of the thumbnail, anyway? I'll see if I can pull up another one that I did. They are. I intentionally had them put on a green screen background, so you'll have to. There's one here that's absolutely brilliant. I'll stick it in here. There you go. I look deranged. I changed that to my profile picture. I was absolutely brilliant. Just all dishevelled and deranged. I look like I've been forced to watch Discovery. Oh, I love that one. Brilliant. Bonkers. That was by far the funniest one, but there was there's this one. I am going to start incorporating these into my videos. They're very funny. Yeah, an actual decent use of AI, I think. The Kurtzman effect, yeah. No, this one will describe the Kurtzman effect pretty fairly, I think. Yeah, I think that's just the one that's in the thumbnail, but yeah. So, I survived Kurtzman Trek, yeah. Bonkers. It's this one. I asked them to make me look like I'd been in a Jackie Chan meme. So funny. So stupid as well, but yeah, it's easy enough to do. So I might. Genuinely, what's the harm in doing it? I asked for one looking with me looking like I was slightly confused, and I was like, yeah, okay, I do look like I'm slightly confused, but for some reason I seem to be reaching for my phaser. I don't. It's just like I'm so confused by this new Trek. It needs to be vaporized. Oh dear, it cracked me up. Yeah, I was gonna, solid heartfelt scream. Yeah, yeah. I incorporate these into my videos, but I don't know what this one is. That is one with me laughing apparently, but yeah, still no kill. Yeah. One with me looking cross, I believe. Yep, there you go. UK Rage Man. There you go. I'll just leave. I'll leave Rage Man there. Alright, stream's winding down, guys. You got anything else you want to say, ask, or anything like that? Anything you want to know? You let me know. I'm, like I said, I'm not going to be back next Friday. I will try and do a stream on Saturday. I'm not entirely sure what's happening yet, though, so don't quote me on that. I will obviously prepare the stream early afternoon, so you'll have plenty of knowledge, and I'll stick it in the Discord as well. If you haven't joined the Discord, then please do join the Discord. It's good fun. Usually when when I'm not being called a racist, and it's late, mate. Time for some sleep. Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna take it to the 3 hour mark. That's 3 minutes left. Well, I'm a completionist. What can I say? A fun use, yeah. It's just a bit of fun AI. I don't want to overuse AI, but I think the quality of my thumbnails is about to increase. That's what Starfleet Academy did to you, huh? Poor man. Yeah, bonkers. It's really hard. It's really hard to find people who like the show, but they are out there. But it's really hard to find people who genuinely like the show and can tell you why they like the show. Cool, so I have to do that. Yeah, it's just fun. Majority of this was Copilot, but I think I've got a subscription with Copilot because obviously the kids need 365 for school and everything, so we got Family 365, and Copilot comes with it. But if you don't have that, you have limited use of AI features. But I've started, like I say, I've started doing a bit of experimentation, seeing what I can produce, and it might just uplift my content a little bit, because a lot of you, if anyone who has YouTube, a lot of the time YouTube, your thumbnail is everything. If you don't get your thumbnail right, you're screwed. Your video will not do very well. You need to interview these people. I want to know who these fans are and what they look like. The thing is, I'm not sure if I want to talk to people who like this show. It'd be interesting. It'd be fascinating to find out why, but I have a feeling they get rather angry, and I'd have to cancel the stream. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna call it there, guys. It is getting late here, and I am very tired. So yeah, it has been absolutely fantastic catching up with you all. Thank you for joining this open lounge therapy session. As as the thumbnail there suggests, I survived. I will moderate, bless you, Xell. I survived Starfleet Academy. So I'm going to be aiming to be back next week, as I said, on this Saturday. And we'll be doing a For All Mankind stream. So hopefully you'll all show for that. And we can have a discussion about Season 5 opening of For All Mankind. Thank you so much for your company this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Bishop of Russia, thank you so much for all the super chats, everybody. You've all been very generous, so thank you so much. I will see you more than likely next Saturday. Until then, you look after yourselves, you look after each other. I will work on getting a better rig. Take care, everybody. See you in the future.